I would be looking out the window always wishing that I could be doing things like other children.
Daniel Thomas wasn't like the other kids. He had a contorted face, twisted hand, and struggled to walk. Daniel had cerebral palsy and epilepsy. Even as a child, he was resigned to a future of failure.
Everybody else had to do things for me, carry things for me. I always thought that my mother would put me in a nursing home. She said that the state would take over as far as controlling, taking care of your life. And I felt fearful about that. It just made me feel like I never was going to accomplish anything. I was going to make anything out of my life.
Despite his challenges, Daniel graduated high school. Yet the first time Daniel really had hope was several years later when he became a Christian.
After I got saved, I felt there was a purpose in my life now, and a plan of action.
A few years later, Daniel met the love of his life at church. Cecile looked beyond the exterior and saw a man with a tender heart.
He was a lot more sensitive as a man to feelings than most guys.
Daniel's life had a new purpose and meaning. Still, his physical condition strained their marriage.
Dan used to have 8 seizures a day, even with his medication, with proper rest, and watching his diet. It must have been very frustrating to him, and as a person who cares for someone who has seizures and cerebral palsy, it breaks your heart.
Cecile and Daniel began to pray that God would heal him of cerebral palsy and epilepsy. One night at a church meeting, someone prayed for Daniel.
I felt the electricity going through my body at the time. And they said, "Hey, look at this guy, look at his face. Look at him. Look at Dan's face. He's changed. The countenance of his face is totally changed." And I was able to talk straight, and I was able to begin to use my hands better.
Daniel's seizures didn't go away, but he continued to pray and believe that God would heal him.
Many times I would call the 700 Club and I would ask for prayer about healing. I would pray with counselors, and I could watch the Lord work him out.
He began to physically improve day by day. Several years later at a Benny Hinn crusade, Daniel and Cecile went forward for prayer.
I said a prayer while we were at the service. Lord, finish this work that's in me. Heal me of this pain I have in my head, and also finish the work of the cerebral palsy and the epilepsy.
Against everything, he believed, and God healed him and blessed him.
Today, Daniel is able to do things he only dreamed of before. With this new passion for life, he's eager to share God's miraculous power.
It was like an onion, like a process taken off layer by layer. I wouldn't let go. I just kept on believing and believing that God was going to do what he said.
It's amazing having seen Dan from where he came from to how he's providing for his family today.
He always reminded me that, remember, faith and miracles are for today. And what I did in your life, other people need to know. It's humbling to know that he's able when I'm not able. And it's like, he's big. He's bigger than big. That's all I can say in my life.